All right. Thanks for joining today. My name is Emi Knight, and this is the Morning Huddle. This is short, digestible material for the dental industry. This is for dentists, office staff, and really anyone who wants to make small, powerful changes to your practice every day. My background is in sales. I've worked in a handful of different industries, and this industry especially interests me. The more involved that I got, the more I realized just how much money was being left on the table and how we as a society don't really prepare our dentists to build profitable business models, often leaving, everybody in the office feeling underwater. So today's conversation is very much in that spirit because both my guests are helping dental practices kind of play by their own rules. I wanted to introduce two companies today. One is going to be illumitrac software. Crystal Adam is the director of illumitrac software, and she has a lot of insight to membership clubs and how dental practices are making profitable changes there. I've also got Sarah Alexander on the panel as well. She works with PPO Profits and really helps with PPO negotiations. So let's kick this off. Crystal, tell us a little bit about who you are, what does your company do, and the core problem you solve for in dental practices.
So my background is in dental. I have sat clinically for 20 years as a dental assistant, and so I've spent almost my whole life in a dental office in some capacity or another. From clinical, I went to dental sales, and so I was a Burkhart sales representative for 5 years before transitioning over to illumitrac during the pandemic. And one of the things that I saw during the pandemic is that our doctors really fought for profitability during that time. Doors closed, but revenue stopped completely. It's something that nobody ever really saw before. And so that's kind of why I saw the impact of illumitrac software, making dentists a little bit more resilient to things like, pandemics or, just life as life comes across us. I also saw the need for illumitrac with our patients and our patient values. Sitting chairside for 20 years, I see the need for our cash patients being able to accept treatment, to be more compliant, to being sitting in the chair, more regularly. So between the two, I just really found a passion for illumitrac.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Crystal. Sarah Alexander, I'll hand it off to you. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what your company does, and the core problem that you solve for.
Okay. I'm Sarah Alexander with PPO Profits. I also have a very long clinical background like Crystal. I've been in dental for about 28 years now. I started off clinical, so I was chairside and then kind of navigated towards the front desk. I've done front desk, I've done office manager, I've been a treatment coordinator, and then I've been back to clinical. So I've kind of seen how the practice works from stem to stern, basically. And I know all the little obstacles that we overcome regarding insurance, membership plans, non-insured patients. So I've seen it all. I've been with PPO Profits for a few years now, and I'm one of their representatives. One of the big things that PPO Profits does is we work with offices that are in network with PPO plans to get them higher reimbursements. We also help offices with startups and acquisitions and getting them set up properly. We know all the little nuances when it comes to insurances, so we know how to get them the highest reimbursements possible, because at the end of the day, we all want everybody to be profitable. We want your bottom line to increase. We don't want you to be working more hours to make more money. We want you to be able to be profitable without doing any extra dentistry, but we also want to help you grow your practice. And that's where I think our relationship with illumitrac has been really important, because we also offer membership plans and those membership clubs for those non-insured patients. So there's a variety of services that we offer at PPO Profits, but we've got a great relationship with illumitrac as well.
Awesome. Well, between the two of y'all, what do we have? We have 50 years of experience, dental experience. That's awesome. That's
We
so
sure
cool.
do. And Sarah and I align very well with our core values when it comes to really helping dentists collect those missing dollars, and at the same time supporting patients. And so that's really at the core. That's what we do.
Great. That's so cool. Yeah. So tell me, Sarah, PPO negotiations feel like a mystery to a lot of people. So where are practices most commonly leaving money on the table, and why does it keep happening year over year, in your opinion?
So you are right. When it comes to negotiations, it does feel like a mystery because providers aren't taught about insurance in dental school. So, and most of them just don't really know how to navigate them when it comes down to it. But that's what insurances want. They want us to intentionally not know as much about them as they would like us to. And they know that providers aren't taught this in school and they want to keep them in the dark. So they strategically change things every year to make things confusing and complicated as possible because it's time consuming. They know that that's what most offices don't have. But most practices will just accept their initial PPO offers and they think that's what they're supposed to have with the insurances, and they never attempt to renegotiate. So their fees don't keep up with inflation or their rising overhead. So they also don't have the team members available to take on the task of handling these negotiation processes. So even then, less than 10% of practices are successful in handling those negotiations. A lot of times we even see things that they're set up incorrectly or they're overlapping, which can lead to even more issues in getting paid on lower fee schedules, higher write-offs, being in network with insurance companies that they didn't even know that they were in network with or even realize, which over time can result in hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost revenue. But that's where we come in. We have the leverage with these companies and the relationships to not only get those higher reimbursements, but we can also clean up the tangled mess that they have already and make sure things are easier and streamlined in the practice.
Wow. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and to that point too, right? Illumitrac kind of helps the on the other coin. So Illumitrac helps dentists create their own in-house membership club for uninsured patients, sitting out that insurance middleman entirely. So Crystal, what made dentists start looking for that kind of alternative in the first place?
Yeah, kind of coming off of Sarah's, profitability and really helping dentists negotiate, the right PPO plans. I like to say that it's really important because, we have a consistent decline of insurance reimbursements, right? I mean, insurance companies are not going to call you next year and say they want to pay you more, right? I mean, 2027 is not the year where that's going to happen. And so it's been on the decline for as long as, insurance has been in business, and it's not going to continue to, become in favor of the dentist. So what are some of the things that we can do for our dentists to help close the gap? We know that the overhead is on the rise, and at the same time, the insurance profitability is decreasing. Between Sarah and I, we can help collect those missing dollars, making sure that we're getting the most out of the PPOs that we have in the practice, and also getting the most out if we can from the cash patients that don't have access to the insurance. And so together, we really make a great powerhouse of two different businesses when they're utilized right. And so that's really why I think that membership clubs can be important, but they have to be done right. Right? Membership clubs really quickly can become discount plans and can be even worse than some of the PPOs that Sarah's doing. And so it's really important that we together work to guide offices to creating sustainable, profitable membership club solutions that pair with profitable PPOs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just answered my next question that I was going to ask you guys. I was going to ask, since there is a big conversation in dentistry right now about the future of insurance, you and Sarah, you help practices within the PPO system work more profitably. Crystal, you help practices on the outside lane of it, right?
In any extra dentistry, even adding 10% can be huge, but our average last year was 52%. I mean, that could be huge for an office, but also consider membership plans. If you're not already offering it, consider offering it for your non-insured patients because there's so many benefits to adding that to an office, and it can make you profitable and you don't even realize it. So, but it's also a service that you can offer for those patients that does build loyalty and helps with so many other different avenues when it comes to your practice.
To kind of back up right against what Sarah was saying, I actually have 3 different recommendations. Sarah, I recommend making sure that you are evaluating your PPOs. That is a really important piece to the puzzle. In addition to that, Sarah's going to handle my second recommendation as well, which is making sure your fees are up to date. So many offices are behind on their fees, and it can be so important to make sure that they're up to date. And really, it's important to make sure they're up to date before coming to illumitrac and building a membership club off of them. We want to be building membership clubs that are profitable, like I was mentioning. And so making sure that your fees are nice and healthy and then building a subscription solution from those fees is really where it becomes a powerhouse for the membership club piece. Adding the PPOs and making sure that they're optimized at their highest level it can really start to add up and with real profitability year over year for the practice.
That's great. Well, hey, thank you both for joining today. Um, if you guys have any questions, you guys want to go and listen to more, or go check out, PPO Profits or illumitrac software, y'all can just go to their website, illumitrac.com, ppоprofits.com. There's a button on there. I believe you can schedule a demo in both. But if you have any other questions, feel free to go there. They've got a lot of awesome people working there that will be able to help answer all that. Thanks again for joining, you guys. It was a pleasure to have y'all on today.
Thanks, Emi. I'm glad to
Yeah.
be here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, that sums up episode 1 of the Morning Huddle. Thanks for listening, y'all.
See you next time.